the new year. They had had a considerable amount of alcohol.
What was in Limpopo? Limpopo is nothing but bush, bruh.
He knew where she was, and there was no way
Ways to die. I need to find that meme somewhere.
these guys
Alright, guys, we're going to be checking out a video titled Anti-Rammstein Lunatics Protest and New Absurd. Apparently, there's no allegations. Well, there are new allegations against Flak also. So this is getting out of hand. Everyone is kind of jumping on the bandwagon. I'm going to divide this into part one, part two. We're going to check to, let's do about 12 minutes. Part one, part two. Now, let me know your thoughts on these new allegations. Let me know your thoughts on the allegations against Rammstein that are just popping up. And now, witness it, now even more victims are coming forward. My question is, why only now? Why didn't you report it then? I mean, man, this is. I'm going to stay as patient as possible here and try and keep my temper. Make sure you subscribe. Let's go.
All right, so it's very late at night for me. It's 2 a.m. But I wanted to talk to a new guest. He has done a bunch of Rammstein videos and other stuff. I looked at your site, you cover other topics, but a lot of Rammstein videos. And you know what? I saw your videos 2 months ago, whenever this scandal was first breaking. And what I've been thinking the whole time is because I don't speak German, and so I couldn't understand the videos, but I see how many views you get. I'm like, that guy gets more views than I do for his Rammstein stuff. So I was really happy that you'd come on the show. So I'm curious because there are two stories that are really big right now related to Rammstein. So one is the Berlin concerts and the quote unquote protests that have been taking place there, and then also the newest allegations against Flake. So
Fuck.
let's start with
Oh God. Listen, I can't blame her. I also pretty much butchered it in the beginning, but it's more like Flak. It's more of
and
a vowel.
then also the newest allegations against Flake. So let's start with the protests because you were there. You were at the concert in Berlin on what, Saturday night?
Oh.
Yeah, the first one in Berlin.
Okay.
I think it was Saturday night. Yes, yes.
And that was where the biggest protest took
Oh well.
place.
Yeah,
Oh my God, bro.
I was in shock. I was scared. So I was literally laughing because the media.
Oh, the typical blue-haired act. Of course, bro. If any activists are watching, I'm not sorry. But come on, bro. I mean, listen. All jokes aside, if these allegations prove to be true, then by all means, I can agree with this protest. But there's nothing's been proved yet, and you're saying something like this. I mean, come on, man.
Beforehand really pushed it up and said, yeah, there were those big protests and I mean they talk about 300 people. You can see it on the video. I think it's barely 100.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just
Yeah.
like some people.
It
Was
looks small on the video.
super small, super small. It was really.
That's what he said.
I don't know. It was nothing. And you must and Berlin is like the head capital of leftism, of feminists, of
Is
left
that right?
radical. Yeah. It's like the cesspool.
If anyone is watching from Berlin, how are you doing? Are you okay? Are you keeping safe with these? I don't know what to call them. I just, you know what? I'm not normally a person who talks about politics. I tend to stay neutral. I tend to stay out of politics. But man, do some leftists irritate me to my core, to my very core.
And Berlin is like the head capital of leftism, of feminists, of
Is
left
that right?
radical. Yeah. It's like the cesspool of everything
Cesspool, damn.
left and left leaning, radical left. They have like
Right.
whole streets that they control,
Damn.
and even they couldn't manage to get more people than that. It was unbelievable.
Oh well.
It looked really sad. Some of the ridiculous stuff that they're doing, like constructing the mock grave for Till
Yeah,
Lindemann. Like,
that's so messed up,
I
bro.
mean, it's the same bullshit. Basically, Germany hangs on the titties of the US, so all the same talking points and feminists. So like the feminists, like they do like copy and paste American feminist politics
Yeah, yeah,
bullshit.
knock off in a minute. Yeah,
They
yeah.
even use the same words. It's embarrassing. Then the cultural appropriation wasn't a thing like 2 years ago, and suddenly they do this big thing. You can't dress as a native Indian anymore in kindergarten. It's all the same talking points. It's
God, when if our forefathers look towards the society, they're gonna be like these people are pussies. Really, I mean, come on. Are are we really turning this soft? Our forefathers had to fight World War II for this. Ah, come on, man.
pathetic.
Grace.
yeah, it is interesting how much of these American ideologies are drifting over to Europe. Okay, so you were there, and there was like 100 people protesting, perhaps.
At the
Did you,
max, I would
at,
say at max. And
at
the media all talk about 300 and more, or they talk about hundreds of
Sure, sure,
protesters.
sure, sure.
So they really, and always the headline is about the protest. It's insane, because it was nothing, but still they push this agenda, and they always talk about the protesters and hundreds of protesters.
Mm.
Well, yeah, it really has felt like the media are really trying to push this as much as they can, even though there's not really anything here. And that kind of leads us into the flake allegations.
Hmm.
So without me, I want to throw it to you because I obviously have opinions
I also want to hear this
as
story
well. But
exactly.
what do you think about these latest allegations?
Well, they're even more laughable than the allegations before. And Flake is considered. I get a lot of info from Rammstein fans because I wasn't really much into Rammstein before this. So, like, Flake is more like this shy,
Yeah,
really
he's
introvert
yeah,
guy with big anxiety issues.
yeah.
I heard that he wasn't flying for the first years and going with a ship to US to play. So, I mean, and still, it's the same thing that makes really boils me up is because they take all agency from women. I mean, so the first story is like the 17-year ago old girl who lies to the members and says she's 22. They go
Just
to
mistake.
the house of Till or Flake. They drink. She gets alcohol. Then she lies in her bed. She's a little bit drunk. Flake lies next to her in the bed. She says she turns to him around and they have sex. And now this is a trauma. She doesn't say no. She doesn't resist. And now, and she says she has psychological issues about this. And
Okay. Listen, I'm not if you lie to me about your age and you tell me 17, you tell me you're 22. All right, I'm gonna take your word for it. Actually, I shouldn't, but I'm gonna take your word for it. You drink alcohol with me as a 22-year-old and you consent to intercourse. You don't say no. And now afterwards you want to come back and god damn.
20 years later, she's still in therapy about this issue. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know what's up with this youth. I mean,
yeah,
drunk sex, bad sex. I think this is a part of life for men and
it
women.
is. Thank you. Out of all, oh man, I would have. Oh god damn, I should have been in a mental institution by now. Come
I
on,
don't know. I don't know what's up with this youth. I mean, drunk
soft.
sex, bad sex. I think this is a part of life for men and
It
women.
is.
And I mean, if this is like the benchmark, everybody has a rape story in his life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I was talking about this earlier on a live stream this because this question comes up of is it assault or is it bad sex? And of course, I don't even believe necessarily what this woman is saying, right? But
Yeah.
just taking the story at face value, what she describes. And my perspective also is that bad sex is in a different category than
Correct.
assault, and it is part of life.
Completely.
And
It's in a completely
people
different
say,
category.
it's like this new generation now. They think, oh, that's just because you're back in your day it was so patriarchal, and it's like, no, it's because we had a different understanding of sex perhaps than you have, which is that it can't be like it can't be sort of bureaucratically, hyper anxiously modulated. Like it just can't
Yeah,
be.
No,
it's so stupid. I mean,
yeah,
it's
but
like an
I mean, I think what she's trying to say is that, no, bad sex is bad sex. It is what it is. Just move on from it, bro. I mean, what is, why are you now kind of completely destroying someone else's life just because of that bad experience? That wasn't necessarily assault or something violent. We don't know. If it was, hey, by all means, you do your thing. But if it's not, why are you just using it to slander? I mean, man, this is where, and this is especially where guys or where men have to be very careful these days when you just, you can't randomly hook up with someone because, you wake up the next morning with a rape charge. As simple as that, right? So be careful, gentlemen, be careful.
a new Puritan time right now where everything needs to be super discussed and
Correct.
like a contract written out
Mhm.
beforehand.
It's
And if
ridiculous,
you're
bro.
drunk a little bit, if you're under the influence of something, then it's
By
suddenly
choice,
rape. I
by
mean,
choice,
80% of sex wouldn't happen if that's the benchmark.
No,
I
it's
mean,
true.
that's
It's
why
true.
people go out to clubs. That's why they go to festivals,
facts.
Uh, Most people need a little bit of alcohol in their system to get out of their head and
Correct.
just enjoy themselves and have casual sex. And then I'm not like I'm 14 years in a relationship. It's not my cup of tea.
No, I know what you're
But
saying.
yeah, so, but I mean, why it's youth? Why not? If they
Yeah.
want to do it, then do it.
I
Is I
mean, yeah. I mean, as someone who is single, who has been single for a long time now, you know what? I understand his points. At this point, in order for you to kind of get outside of the comfort zone, oftentimes you smoke a little, you drink a little. We know. If you know, you know, bro. If you know,
it's unbelievable how we like regress in a Puritan age, and the push comes from the left. That's so
correct.
Right.
funny about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
No, it is. It is absolutely. And I've talked before on my channel about how I grew up in a very fundamentalist Southern Baptist East Texas
Very,
Christian
yeah.
environment, and I felt like one of the things that I disliked about it, and there were some things that were actually good, but one of the things I disliked was that it seemed very
Control,
puritanical and sexually
controlling.
repressive. And so
Yeah.
I went to grad school and became a professor, for a while, college lecturer. And it was so crazy to see that one of the things that I thought I was getting away from, it's like that, it's basically like the story of Oedipus, right? Like he runs away from it, but he ends up running toward it. One of
Hmm.
the things that I thought I was getting away from, I actually went into a place where from which this new puritanism would come, right? Which is like leftist institutions, academia and stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I know that there are a lot of Rammstein fans, or a number of Rammstein fans, that do not like it when you and I talk about the left versus right thing, and they don't like our what they perceive as our political perspective. And I think that people misunderstand. I don't know much about your show, no offense, but like for me, it's not about trying to make the leftist feel bad. I'm just trying to say, like, you've got a problem here, and it is, in this instance, it is coming from a particular group of extreme.
I mean, and it's weird because Rammstein themselves have claimed themselves, have claimed to be leftist. It's pretty ironic that their own group is kind of bringing.
Woke, radical, whatever word you
Yes.
want to use. Like, we have to identify where this is coming from, right?
I
Just like
mean,
I yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, some Rammstein fans are waking up to this because Rammstein is a left band. That's the funny
Exactly.
thing because it's often considered right, but they are from a punk
Left.
background and they are more like a left-leaning band.
They
They were
left.
on
Yeah.
stage with the LGBTQ flag and they kissed on stage in Russia to make a point.
Mm.
So two men. So, but and I got a lot of shit with recently because I was there and there's a cameraman and he was from a more like a right-wing media outlet,
Mhm.
but they were the only ones who wanted to support me and get a
Mm.
cameraman and make the interviews. And it's the first and only um, piece in whole Germany from a media outlet that's not super critical about Rammstein. So
Man.
now the left media is like insane and say, "Oh, right wing ideology influence the
Oh
stuff."
God.
And
Right.
I mean, I have to give them really credit because their audience doesn't like Rammstein very much, and even the people, because they are more conservative. They're not big into sex, drugs, and rock and roll and necrophilia imagery and what Rammstein is doing. But still, they have like the most based article about this stuff, and they were giving me the platform to
Mm.
let me speak. And none of left media did it. They even I'm even translated 3 of your videos with the cop, with the
Thank
witnesses, and none to this day even reacted to this.
you.
None.
Mm.
And I had people from my audience who wrote to media and said, "Are you aware of
Mm.
this counter witnesses? Will you do an excerpt on that?" And they
Yeah.
got the normal bullshit answer like, "Yeah, we have got you. Thank you for your feedback and blah, blah, blah. We will consider in the future." Nothing. Silence of the lambs. And so you see, it's
Yeah.
really there must be something behind this, something evil, sinister. I can't believe it that they are not even mention it. Even critical say, "Yeah, we can't verify this witnesses. It's an American channel, blah blah blah." No, nothing.
I mean, in the same situation, I don't want to compare the two situations, a little bit different, but it's the same thing with the. It's weird how the whole Tate debacle and this is playing out at the same. Don't you think that's a little bit weird that it's playing out at the same time? You have basically two groups of people. One, Tate and or Tate brothers and Rammstein being accused of these things without a shred of solid evidence, and it's happening at the same time. Basically, coming from the same groups. So yeah, to me, it's all a little bit fishy. I mean, if you're guilty, you're guilty. Irrespective of how much I like you, I like both Tate. I like both Rammstein. I like those two. Those two have you know influenced my life to a great degree. I will always be thankful to both of them. But if they're guilty, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not necessarily going to like them less, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. It's a very difficult topic to really discuss and break down. But let me know your thoughts on these new allegations regarding Fluck. Regarding Till, let me know what you think down below. I know a lot of you have commented on the previous video, and I appreciate you. Let me know if you have any new thoughts, any new developments that's going on in your head. Leave them down below in the comment section. I'll be seeing you next time.